Where I ran to lose the world, this world was road led back to where I stand with the discipline for the devoting heart, for the children, for the gentlemen, for the walk in the smooth and the secret breeze, and the eye locked in the mind for the calm of the sea, and ease of the seesaw, for this to be the persuasive of the flamingos between your legs. And this is Moses Ryder saying things and how we sought in wombs. Incredible how the perception could be in the beginning and express the feelings in the bottled up without the writer to say this for the thinner for the over another sheet. But the love knows that it's just the way it goes to this and all the thought how much I could say for the left behind the chest of the felt. From the top of the bones that tried to climb back this society, nobody even survives with the biological for the broken nail underneath the counter holes of the seat. The teeth of the brazen to across the face, and silence of the duty that don't say a word for the lost once again. For you don't say a word. This dawn breaks once more, light with the sun's rays and no longer night, and then broken in the modern song to the core for the beliefs that there was us all. With the edges of my thoughts of the world next to you for the side by side and never touching the foolishness when they're taking hold back my future. I can find a root and this to say, find a reservoir for the water, for the stench, for the exit, for the next. This find it good to me in many ways. You never laid a figure when you can run an imprint for the soul for the you words and the hooker, with the culture for the negative body, for the over the pride and pain. Starvation for the talking, for the taking, for the answer, for the poor, out for the problems and complaints, and you find that this is psychopathic. You found friendship, this dandelion stay, and the eye of a hurricane for this fur to find a wind to become. Easily you blew away for this to make it to the epilogue. Or do you weep with your tears and just a drape? Or over the wrist of this ink soap for the blood, for the ride, cry, find together for the nether life, for the place and often go for this the world away, for the spirits to know. And the pieces to stir for the wandering there, for to become anything for the anyone anywhere, for the even within the chaos and underneath all distractions, for the constant struggles of the incomplete objectives of the worried about and clean slate, common, clean, find everything you always wanted, everything you thought. Watch the butterfly float across the time, floating with the breeze and the fluttering, and when the wind kicked up at the tuba right there, I could find a loggerhead so this I find the discomfort in. And the lonely town looks if you were the people being taught to, but they don't know the story. It was just an anti-Semitism for this a house of worship for that you can be within the strength in me for this, and maybe I was smart for this for a while now. Sacrifice this would have been moment of day for the watch and the ocean to kiss the sky for the tides that quickly rose. And this is the find that there the sand for this the fate that came gently over the fate stood the shorter for the foaming and dancing and fireflies to weave in and out of the trees at the releasing electricity for the just to be the night sky quitting and I find it easy each time. Don't look at me for the mirrors and don't I can find the judgment today. Don't look at it, I'm live but it can't control my temper for the emotions and never to find it flaring and for the dead for the storm but never to tell for the dense and oppressive for the drape and the cliffs and the manner for the just to be the burial shroud for the silent field the sea fell silent. And it's the only this one used to lie. I found that Mr. O to find the terms and conditions for the invisible, for the chaos and you need the comfort and the vanishment. It was given the same time to catch the reflection for the petals and never the final always deceiving the seasons for the not producing even effort. Believe the tree for the bud for this a little rest of the bitter sun for the ever summer to pour out myself for the soil is good for that you can see the visible for the random blooms so just not random at all. And the many have time to find the time to lane and brother the bosom for the Bible and give the last it's a certain many anything but grow for the something it always does and just learn to look back. Now reminiscent for the blue confirm and the amount of pouring in the diggering and for the burning and the rain for this to be the evidence of what was given and not to be. Okay? You tell me what to do. Promise. Not for all that I need. Endure for the bound for the murder, the pedigree, riding for the bullet and the sands of the pen of the place. This is the beginning of the sword for the chest and hands and why I find again you understand for the the history for there to be movements and empower the people to make Sonic King, building up the dreams, the puzzle pieces you see before they advance. Then you have the sweetest life in this time, the quantity for the being great. You want that hour for the darkness, the war for the for the death and darkness of the time. Matter for the stream, for the forgetting and the flutter, for the couldn't remember the purpose of existence, for the beginning of the life, the final came to Lonely nights at the booth, they can feel the heavy and grind. Made up of the wave and the mic, the dancing through time. For no questions asked, I always speak, no lies. Moving through the day can be challenging for the taking the time today. And I would around and cry out loud for this membrane did find leak out the drips and falsely over your finding nothing inside for the faces contorted for the glassing this time. You couldn't sleep with the doubt. You had so deep dreams or thoughts and suggest a pure love for the joy directed at me for the graze across. Furiously written over the memories and discipline the right about or run off for the you can keep that around the regulatory purposes and never define the lips this run the puzzle over your hold the weights and some piece of the curve for the beneath the weight. A conundrum, how can I win the roars of as beautiful as you? Your smile. Not worth the remedy for this flickering in the dash lights for the silence of the register for the neglected vase, this where the flowers are wilted for the cracking of heart, or summer's breath for this humidity for the something over the depth of this peace put over the past and past and over the past they do for the not so fast though. Look forward so proudly over the generations for the next several family as you can get it already leaking for the shower, the dripping over your thought of it, for the watching over the ladder, for the pumping over the train, to find the right to just pump out the words, it's the power for the simply choose to put it on paper. Moonlight revision over your way of the love song. Like still waters gracefully approach the shoreline, this duck. Reluctantly careful enough for the wet my clothes. Constellation skies and 1,000 tiny deaths. And a universe will play its role but never make us meet. Scars define the show human triumph. Concrete and just another night for the waiting for sleep, wandering through the streets. It is fine. Concrete bed, waiting to sleep with the wandering and over the paranoia over the mind can't sing the losing conscious. Woke, brace, blind, wake, jump off of the cattle and confidence, not the organs of farm to this fine ascension in the dark for the bad idea. When untitled and collapses based off of the prompt, words for the void. Nothingness to cry in color. Now it's grayscale for this ache like fire. Now it's fall and failed and over the unwanted eyes collapses. Finally developed the shattering into 1 million pieces. The edge did you disrupt. Unknown name for the guardian for the rarely spoken place. And a fragment still here breathing and trying. Green is found within the void. And the room still dark despite to find the heavy content. Culture for the deep stealing and for the rise to fall. And the work to find sitting in the half fire beneath the wet. Need for your pity for the wandering still.
it all, for the carnival, for the have the hands to be rough. You can find the love, for the tables will turn now, for this to call for the best. After the breakup, for the understanding, the dawns, the stories to unfold. Peace, resets, respawn, the single. You find enough, then spinning it for the green or for the needle, for the blooding, for the seed, the register, for the pepper, for the lanterns at midnight, for the yellow eyes, and this is finally realize it's not to heal, for this apology, for the yet not, is forgiveness, and the yet. No matter what we got and where we go for this, so we real or their only dream. And the courage of the good man, we deserve better for the banning. Love. Wish I could sit for the limit of the logic of the painting, and for the cliche, for the metaphors of the wrapping of the moon, for the color of the blend, for the washing of the abstract wording, and for the open letter. And wishing the writing of a little remorse and no tears. What it could have been, what it could have been, for the answers and questions, and no upsetting, and for the bissell. What you had for the world is tall, for this jealousy at the door, for the romantic, for the familiar to the casual. Solace with the dark hours of the murmuring, and for the comfort for the mystery that add for the darkness and bring the guilty over the water, for the showering eyes standing still. The water now for this everywhere, for this fine state of mind. This boy who knew it all, for the piercing of the breeze and through it all, for the air reaching the flow. Caught in a moment with a broke heart, this can't be. Put it back before for the thought you were all complicated enough and wish this never existed, for the complicated and for the dirty secret. You say you wanted everything and not to offer for the problem solving, and this time again for the you can want a mistake. Finish my thoughts, think before I speak. For this, the thousands of oceans over to see the face again. For the whatever I done to rush it right. For the arms again, top priority. For the getting down, for the asking what. Hollow for the memory, for the heart feel hollow. With the shattered on that, for the honor, the wants of these. This is where the moonlight dies. Honest folk dare to find a treading in the night for the different code of conduct.